Hello, and this is your friend Conservative Cat. Welcome to episode 11 of my playthrough of Quest 64. Last time we had left off, we had defeated Zelsi the mage, and in return, we had obtained the Wind Jade. We have warped back to Larpool via the wings. Let's go ahead and make this message max real quick, though. And now we have to journey through the blue cave, to eventually get to the water crystal. But first we have to go through the crystal cavern. And Layla is apparently testing us to make sure we're a real magician. Yeah, I'm not liking that message speed, so I'm just gonna bring that back down to normal. Yeah, that should be good. Let's go ahead and see what she has for us, though. You know, I think that's a good compromise. Because so far, I don't know if you've noticed, but the music is kind of overwhelming. So let's go ahead and try it this setting real quick. Oh, a silver amulet. What's this do? Looks like it wastes a turn. I know defense is helpful, but honestly, I'd rather just have the magic barrier up than the defense, because, you know, that blocks everything, literally. Okay, heads up, the blue cave is sort of a maze, sort of not. But before we go in there, we have two spirits to grab. First one is right here, and the second one you can miss. Before the end of the cave, we are going to almost fill up Earth, though. Putting us in a great position. If you go right here, you will go to the blue cave. If you go left, you will come to another entrance. This actually leads back into the hotel, so you can actually come back. But if you do enter that door right there, the lake will fill up and you will be stuck. Well, you won't be stuck, you'll have to talk to Layla again. Run over here, drop down, and we are in the blue cave. Can you tell why it's called the blue cave? Blue cave has a bunch of little branches that branch off from the main path. The main path will always be marked by two pillars along the side of the caverns with arrows pointing the direction you should be going. I'm going to try something new for this for this time around, and that is that I'm going to speed up the battles. That way, just sort of hurry it along, you know, rather than sitting through a battle that may or may not take a long time. Because I've noticed in my videos the past couple times, at least to me, the battles kind of drag on, and especially here in the blue cave, it's just kind of ridiculous. But for boss battles, I am still going to play at regular speed. So, what am I searching for? Oh, we should level up here soon. But yeah, here's why it's taken so long for me to upload this video. There's a part later in here, which I will show when I get there, later in this dungeon I mean, that the emulator freezes when I use a certain spell. I tried this 2 times. Both times it froze, so I just ended up skipping it the final time. Also, I kind of skipped some dialogue I wanted to see the first time, so I just got frustrated and I put the emulator down for a couple of weeks. I won't speed up if I'm just planning to run away, but otherwise I'll speed up, and you can kind of see kind of tell when I'm going to speed up because the main music will go dark, because, you know, I don't want to put y'all through chipmunk sounds. It seems like there's a lot more battles this time around. That's not quite the case, it's just that I go out of the way so often here that it seems like there's a ton of battles. There are a ton of battles. Literally, there's some times when I go 1 foot and I'll be in another battle. There we go, level up. But I'm hoping that this speed up will go quickly. Well, it'll go over well and make the videos a bit more easy to digest. If you like this, or if you don't like it, just leave a comment and I will change accordingly in future recordings. But for this session, you'll probably see, for the most part, them all sped up. Unless I get, like, a major consensus before I even upload the next video or cut it or anything. Because remember, I do my commentary in post. The Blue Cave, like I said, it has a bunch of branches that head off of the main path. More often than not, the longer branches lead to spirits or chests, so it generally behooves you to explore off the road a bit. That was shameful. Sorry about that. And so that's what I'm going to do. I should have in the early 40s, or probably closer to mid-40s, in terms of Earth by the time I leave here. You have certain different types of enemies. A lot of them, for some reason, use these fire arrows, even though... Sorry about that. A lot of them seem to use these fire arrows, even though this is supposedly, you know, the Blue Cave, so theoretically it should be water or ice type of damage. I don't know. Element-wise, this game doesn't really make that much sense. To me, at least. One thing to be careful of is more than... pretty often, if you're not careful, you'll end up backed into a corner when you follow one of these paths down here, and you will not be able to easily escape. You'll have to fight your way through them, basically. I don't know if you noticed that, but we got a new water spell. That water spell is Exit. What Exit will do is basically what you'd expect it to do. It will warp you out of the dungeon, back to the entrance of the dungeon. It won't warp you to the other way. I wish it would, but it will not. So it is useful, say if you're really low on healing, you're trapped, or you just need to go back to the surface for some reason. Exit your spell. It'll bring you back to the entrance of the dungeon. Mimics! I don't know what is up with these mimics. They seem to have 2 attacks. One of these is this sort of ice spike thing. Yeah, right there. The other one is that sort of wave. The wave I prefer because it doesn't home in on you like the ice spike does. But I don't know how it chooses which one it uses. The multi-optics here seem to only have, actually, I take that back. They have fire arrows and they have a healing spell. They use their healing spell seemingly at random. Cause I hadn't hit that guy, yet he healed himself. Okay, we're back to the main path. It took us a little bit of time to get back onto it. We're finally going to make progress in the dungeon. Mimics are pretty easy depending on how their how their attack goes. If they rely a lot on the wave attack, you can just sort of run off to the side and dodge them. However, if they start doing the glacier a lot, it's a lot more difficult. Not that you'd see it was easy, considering he beat me down to half health, but that's just the way the dice roll sometimes. Okay, let's head further into the cave. There are those markers I told you about. It's impossible to get lost, pretty much. They show up at any juncture, so it's never a mystery which way you're supposed to go. Even though I think it was probably supposed to be a maze. The paths that do not have something valuable in them are usually pretty tiny, so you don't need to go down there too much to see what's up. Like, see, there's nothing down this path, however, it's also a very short path. The longer paths usually have chests or spirits in them, and... God damn it. Fortunately, they placed us near the escape. Now, I only remember one part of this game from this point on. Well, a couple parts. The very end of the game, and another dungeon. Maybe a couple of other dungeons. Sorry about the coughing, or clearing my throat, by the way. I'm kind of congested. Okay, here's a nice party to kill. Go ahead and magic barrier up and throw down. See, that is what I like to see out of my avalanches. Be careful with these guys. For the most part, they... Bullshit! That's what that is. That is bullshit. For the most part, they just, do this ice glacier. However, they can also do, water pillars. The water pillars are definitely the more difficult, more damaging one to deal with, so kind of try to keep them at range, if you can. However, they're not that difficult, even with... Here's another tiny cave that has nothing at the end of it. The map designer is pretty merciful here, I will give him that. Once again, I don't know, I don't really have any commentary here. So I think I'm just gonna go on with what I think is beautiful. Reason why I like this game is both the reasons why I don't like this game and the reasons why I like this game are here in full force here in the Blue Cave. You can see it's clearly a very beautiful area, and if the game would allow you to listen for a couple seconds, you would hear that the music here is actually very beautiful. And while the fighting system is good and at times very rewarding, the random time battles are so prevalent. It's indicative of a lot of the game, which feels like filler for the most part. The boss battles are enjoyable. I will go on a limb and say that. They do genuinely make you feel like there is a sense of tension. The battles feel like they are contributing to the, and I'm going to use quotes here, storyline. These, for the most part, the random battles don't really feel that way. Don't get me wrong, the combat system is great. However, it boils down to too much of a good thing. definitely whoever made this game realized that the combat system was one of the strong points. You also have the graphics and the music, which are both very beautiful throughout the game. So if nothing else, the game is fun. However, it always boils down to the random time battles. Not random time battles, just the random encounter battles. Furthermore, if I didn't have Magic Barrier here, it would be pretty difficult to make any dent. I'd just be dying constantly. But thanks to Magic Barrier, the game is... Oh! Got an Earth. I'm noticing I'm complaining a lot. I don't remember much of this game from when I was a little kid, getting started as an RPG player, or as a gamer in general. Aside from liking this game, which I'm hoping that the reason why will show up. But the past kind of has a way of putting rose-tinted glasses on the past. High school, for example, I really did not like school, yet I look back on it fondly. For some reason. Oh, here is one of the examples I was talking about. Though you can't see it, the border on the other side of Brian is pretty much against the wall. Oh, that was a very nice one. Okay, very good. Ah, come on. I only really used like 4 spells, aside from heal spell. Well, this little worm is gonna kick my ass, isn't it? That's another thing, I don't know how it determines whether something misses or not. Because sometimes bosses and enemies will just go on a miss-a-thon. And, you ever played, Baldur's Gate? I remember, like, characters with spell resistance, when you're trying to heal them, would, at the worst possible time, resist the healing spell. I don't think spell resistance should apply to... beneficial spells. But that's the way it goes. And that is kind of what seems to be happening here in the game. I don't know if my evade chance or... if it's my evade chance that makes the magic barrier miss sometimes, or if it's just the magic barrier has a certain amount of fail built right into it. One thing the Blue Cave demonstrates is enemy movement. Enemy movement is kind of annoying because the enemy moves so slow. Like, they do this little awkward waddle thing. Ah, crap. And there's the crawler, taking forever to get to me. Magic barrier up. You know, I go down on this game a lot, but I also try to praise a lot. What I would like to actually see is a remake of this game. A remake in the hands of, like, obviously not a professional remake, that's never going to happen. However, I think a fan remake could potentially be very good. You could add more characterization to Brian, you could develop the story a bit more. I think it could be a very good project, if properly done right. As far as gameplay-wise, I would just tweak the, how often you run into random battles. As far as the battle system itself goes, I think you have a good system. You know, it's kind of like, Oh, we got another spirit. Let's go ahead and drop that into water. Wow, we are actually already got some health and mana upgrades, so we're in a good place. Anyways, this is going to bring us to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.